about cooking, you just need to be a good conversationalist. She wants no boring people in the kitchen, okay? So only if you're witty, only the witty need apply. But everybody knows how to chop and cut. The experts can cook, anybody can clean. So she's asking for help with that, wants more volunteers, or make bread, or give money. If you want to do none of those things, but you want to sponsor the materials, all of those things are helpful to her. The very first soup and bread sale was last weekend with our free-for-all breakfast, and it earned like $225 on its first try, which is wonderful. So this is a neat new thing, and I encourage you to tag in with Jan and support her effort. This goes in the offering plate at the offering time. All right, we have a song. I think it's Psalm 121.
Is it?
It's not. Oh. We're singing Psalm 121. That's what it is. I thought I'm losing my mind. Okay, that's the text of what we're singing. Let us read together Psalm 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers. Under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue Him. I will protect Him, for He acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer Him. I will be with Him in trouble, and I will deliver Him and honor Him. With long life I will satisfy Him and show Him my salvation. Now please hear the scripture lesson from the book of Genesis.
Today's scripture lesson comes from Genesis 32, 22 through 31. That night Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and the man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. The man then said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask me your name? Ask me my name." Then he blessed them there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, yet my life was spared." The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. This is the word of God.
Thank you, Bob. All right. Friends, I am very tired. We had the Taste of North Reading last night, and it was like all week, final push, plus the event. And so I need somebody, George, Eli, to stand by in case I need a stool. I'm so serious. There's a chair, but it's too low. I would need a stool. I only preached sitting down one other time, and it was the Sunday before Lucy was born on Monday. I remember Joe Wilkinson saying, "Are you sure you're not in labor?" I was like, no, it's 3 weeks early. Anyway, and there she came the next day. I feel like I should stand to pray, so I will. But thank you for indulging me when I'm tired. Let's pray. God, this is blessed time and sacred space. We've each brought ourselves here with all that we are and are not, hoping that you will bring your Holy Spirit and build us and strengthen us. God, we ask that you would use these words to instruct us and improve us, to open an insight, God, so that we might walk closer to you. I ask that you give me strength and help me to speak and to think clearly. Amen. I am going to sit. I can't believe it. I'm getting old. That's really what it is. Don't believe it for a second. Let's see how long this lasts. Have you ever been, well, maybe some of you were at the Taste of North Reading last night. Wonderful. It was down at St. Teresa's Hall, and because it outgrew this space, and so we have to hold it down there, and they're generous to share that space. And, about 110 people, lots of conversation, but the feature, sort of the audible feature, is an 8-piece brass swing band that plays for this event. They rehearse in this sanctuary, and as a way of saying thank you, they offer their services for the Taste of North Reading. So there's live music going on and conversation, and there's all these people to talk to, and it's just, it's sort of dizzying. You've been in a space like that maybe last night, or maybe you've been to a concert or a party where there's just so much going on, it's just a swirl of activity. And then you leave that place, and you walk into your house or into your room, and you close the door, and all of a sudden it's still and quiet. And it's so quiet you can almost hear it. You know what I'm talking about? When it's like your ears are ringing, like there's still a volume in there. Like the silence is overwhelming, it's deafening. And all of a sudden you stop. And you're like, wow, that must have been really intense where I just was, right? Because now where there's nothing and stillness, it feels so quiet. And where there were so many people and so many things to see and so many conversations to have, now I'm just alone and it's quiet. You've been there, right? You know what I'm talking about. And your ears are full of that silence. Hold on to that. Hold on to that. So today is a really good story. I am so glad on a Sunday when I am tired to be able to just tell you a really good story from the Bible. This one's an easy one. This one came out okay because it's a story that so many of us can relate to, which is a man who starts out life with 2 really dysfunctional parents and has to spend his growing up years and his young adult years working that out until he can finally get to a place where he is healthy with himself and healthy with God. Would everybody please raise their hand and say, that is my story? Because that's everybody's story to some degree, right? You start out with your parents who maybe were lovely, mostly. Hi, Dad. Sometimes he watches too. But they had their issues, and then you have to work out those issues that your parents gave you, and maybe some that you brought on yourself, until you can get into a place where as an adult you feel balanced in your relationship with God, in your relationship with yourself, your family, and your world. This is Jacob's story. So Jacob, we have to go in the Wayback Machine. Jacob is in Genesis. He's one of the patriarchs. We don't even have a marker really on the year of this story. It's that oral tradition of the Bible that tells us our prehistory stuff. So Jacob, way back. He's born to Isaac and Rebecca, who, as a parent now, when I read this story, it's like a lesson in how not to parent, by the way. But he has a real big problem at the instant that he is born. And this is what it is. Jacob is a twin. It says even that maybe they wrestled when they were in the womb, which any mom of twins, Danielle, can attest to. Did your twins wrestle?
Oh, they did. Logan came out with a scratch, so.
And who's older? Why do I forget who's older between Logan and Savannah?
I'm older.
How many minutes older are you, Savannah?
17
17
minutes.
minutes. Well, so let's use that. Okay, I like that. So Jacob and Esau were in the room wrestling and scratching, and Esau comes out 17 minutes before Jacob. Only 17 minutes, just a little tiny bit of time, and yet that makes all the difference in the world because it makes Esau the first son, and Jacob the second son. Esau was going to inherit from his dad not only his things, but so importantly, his blessing. The father to son blessing is huge in this culture. There's like a ceremony. There's like a thing that you do. It's not just general, God, please bless my kids. It's like a thing, like a touch, a moment. It happens once. Esau gets all of that just because he's 17 minutes older than Jacob. So the second that Jacob is born, he's at a disadvantage. The second he comes into the world, he's number 2, and he knows it. He knows that he is not the favored son of his father because he is number 2. So that's kind of uncool. That's not really anybody's fault. That's just the culture going on. But as he starts to grow, another weird thing of his parents comes forward, and that's that he very clearly appears to be the favorite of his mother. Now we have some moms out here. Moms, really and honestly, well, dads too, let's think about this. Do we have favorite children?
No.
Do we have favorite children, right? Our kids are different, right? Maybe some of them are more pleasant. So it's really easier to be kind and affectionate with them. But do we genuinely have favorites? No. Depends on the day. All this humor now this morning, that's good. Gives me energy. No. No. Again, some of them are easier or harder, but we love them the same. Not in this family. Maybe you've known a family where there was a child who was really favored over another and how that messes up the children. Jacob was his mom's favorite. Rebecca loved him more. And so she started working the angles for her favorite son. And she said, as he got older, let's say now he's Wesley's age, okay, he's a big guy, big kid. You know, your dad is really sick. He's getting old. He's a bit blind, hard of hearing. All the aging things are happening. We actually think he's going to die soon. And so he's going to offer his blessing to the oldest son now. Rebecca says, I really like you, Jacob. I want to see you get that blessing. I want you to impersonate your brother. Your dad's blind, deaf, not really functioning very well. He won't know the difference. So in order for you to receive the blessing, you're going to dress up. He puts on like fur on his arms. Apparently his big brother was really hairy. And I want you to do all these things and go receive the blessing. This happens, okay? They trick Isaac. And Jacob receives the blessing. But under what circumstances? Like his mom has said, if you want a blessing, if you want to be legitimate, please fake who you actually are. You won't be legitimate on your own. You need to pretend to be somebody else. That'll mess you up. So he receives the blessing. Isaac is horrified. The dad is horrified when he realizes what happens. And there's nothing that can be done. And the older brother is furious because his birthright has been given away. And to summarize a longer story, Jacob realizes he's going to have to leave, right? He's going to have to leave town because he's made his big brother so mad. So he takes off and stays with his uncle. So we have this guy who's born at a disadvantage, number 2. So he feels like he's a loser to start out with. His mother confirms that he's a loser by saying, in order to be legit, let's trick somebody, and you need to not be yourself, right? And now he doesn't even have a home. He's lost his home because his bad behavior, his harm that he has done to his brother has made him have to leave. He goes to live with his uncle, ends up being a period of about 14 years. He's of the age to marry, because this is what they do at that time. He marries his uncle's daughter, his cousin. Her name is Leah. And then he realizes he really wanted to marry his uncle's daughter, Rachel, because she's more beautiful. That's who I'm named after, by the way, in case you're wondering. Beautiful Rachel. Isn't that right? That's right.
More or less,
Yeah. Okay. We'll say yes.
chose her name before we met you,
Oh, that's right. That was aspirational. Our soon-to-be beautiful daughter, Rachel. Good. Okay.
More soon to be beautiful son, you didn't know.
Well, Rachel's a weird name for a son.
Yeah, you know what name.
Yeah, okay. Can you tell I'm tired of just sitting up here making jokes? Okay. So he marries 2 sisters, his 2 cousins, Leah and Rachel. They have children. He's working for his father-in-law as a shepherd. Okay. And after 14 years, he starts to feel the call to go home. His life is very busy with these flocks and herds and sheep and 2 wives. That's scandal about that. 2 wives, and everybody's running around all the time, right? It's very, very busy, but the pull of going home is there. So he says to his father-in-law, his uncle, he says, I've been working for you for 14 years, been working hard for you, I'd like to go home, but I feel like we need to settle up. I feel like you need to pay me for what I've done for you. All the shepherding and things, and so the father-in-law says, sure, let's make an arrangement. So Jacob is a crafty, smart type of guy. He says, okay, Dad, let's do it this way. I'll watch over your flocks for another, year or so. And at the end of that time, any of the sheep or goats that are spotted, that are colored in a certain way, why don't I just keep those? And you can have the rest. This is a very early illustration of animal husbandry and about breeding. Right here in Genesis in the Bible, fascinating. Jacob understood that you make this one with that one and you get these colors. Don't even ask me. High school's been a long time ago. But you know what I'm talking about, right? That you can crossbreed animals. Your cat, my cat, is a tortie because she's a cross between 2 different color patterns, right? Jacob understands all this. So give him a year. All of a sudden, most of the flock is just what Jacob wanted, because Jacob knows how to do that. And the father-in-law sees this going on, and he, at first is kind of surprised. Well, that's sort of random. Dad doesn't get this, right? Now there's even more. Now he's looking at Jacob with a real side eye and saying, you're doing something here. You are stealing from me. And it's beginning to get more and more tense. So Jacob, who has never felt like he fully belonged, never felt like he was fully accepted just for who he is not able to go to his father-in-law and say, the time is up, it's time to go, let's have a farewell party, this is fair and square. He can't be above board like that because he's been suffering his whole life from inadequacy, right? From imposter syndrome. So when he sees that side eye, that hostility from his father-in-law, tells his wife, kids, in the dark of night, we are leaving. And he runs away. With his father-in-law's sheep, with his father-in-law's daughters, with his father-in-law's grandchildren, doesn't even say goodbye. That's how poor his self-image and self-respect still is as an adult. So they leave. And father-in-law chases after him, says, what are you even doing? Come on, this is my family. Of course, we're going to say goodbye, gives him a big kiss, they reconcile, fine. Jacob is going home, and when he goes home, who's going to be there waiting? Scratchy Savannah. Scratchy Savannah. Big sister, big brother, excuse me. Right? His big brother, who's angry at him for stealing the birthright. So, we're getting to the place where this text happens, Bob. Bob's like, are we going to get there? We're going to get there. This is it. This is it. So imagine that he spent 14 wild years with these children, these wives, these flocks, this father-in-law, everything, running, scheming about how to crossbreed everything. Everything's been so busy, thinking about his brother, worrying and wondering. He's just about to get near home, and they have to cross the river. He sends all the flocks across the river. He sends his wives and children across the river. And it's night, and he stays on the other side of the river alone. Remember that feeling of closing the door after you get home from that noisy event? And the silence is deafening. He is just about to go and face the brother that he harmed. He has no idea how he's going to be received. He has nothing to distract him. He doesn't have the kids pulling on him, the flocks that need to be mated that way or that way. Nothing to distract him, only himself and God. And God does this really cool thing. I don't know, sometimes when I read the Bible, I don't know if it's like a metaphor, if it's exactly like you could have filmed that with a movie camera. I don't really know. I'm experiencing this sort of psychologically, okay, this next moment. That God sends an angel, a man to him that he doesn't know, and they just start wrestling. And they struggle. This is a physical thing. Like when you are so upset and so confused and conflicted with God that you don't even have words. This is what he does all night. He wrestles and strains and strives against his past and who his parents said that he was or wasn't, and who he said he was or wasn't, and who his brother says he was or wasn't, and his honest actions and his dishonest actions and the uncertainty of the future. All of this just boils down into this wrestling match for Jacob. And you'd like to say, and then he won, and he stood up and he realized that he was a better person. It's a draw, friends. It's a draw. There's going to be no end to this wrestling. And so he says, as the dawn starts to come, the man who he's wrestling with sees that it's a draw and knocks his hip out of socket. Okay? Injures him. To end the wrestling match. Jacob says, "Who are you?" The man says, "I'm not going to tell you who I am, but I want to tell you who you are. Your name has been Jacob. Now your name is changed to Israel. I'm giving you a new name because you have changed tonight. What has happened to you as you have wrestled through this has changed you, and you are going to be different from now on. New name, and you're going to walk with a limp. All right? You're going to have a memory of this that's going to stay with you. You are different because you have wrestled with God and you have wrestled with men." Jacob walks out of that time alone through the river to meet his family and the flocks and to go meet his brother, a changed man, because he has fought it out with the Lord. What an interesting picture of a relationship with God. Like, we're Christians. Like, normally we're like thinking, oh, like I was talking to the children about, oh God, please, oh help, oh thank you, oh I'm sad. You know, we're in this supplicant position, right? That's how we're raised as people of faith, to always be asking God in a one down position. This is this really equal wrestling match. Israel is Jacob's new name. Israel. The nation of Israel is named after him. This is the patriarch of the Israelites, of the Jewish community. And their model for the relationship with God is, oh please, it's like this. Isn't that fascinating? We think that that's a little presumptuous. Who's feeling a little bit worried about fighting with God like that? But that is the patriarch of the Jewish people. So Jacob goes across the river, family, flocks, friends. No, enemies. This is his brother. Esau is coming. Esau is coming. Somebody says, hey, I heard Esau is coming to meet you. He has 400 men with him. Oh, good. That sounds promising, doesn't it? What about 400, I don't know, welcome bags? What about 400 bouquets of flowers? Wouldn't that be a nicer message? 400 men sounds really ominous. But Jacob has changed. And so he walks. There's a little strategy in the way he approaches his brother. You can read on your own. It's very calculated. But he walks, and he sees his brother. He bows down 7 times. He wants this to go well. Bows down 7 times and stands up, and his brother hugs him and receives him back. So not only has Jacob wrestled through his own stuff, his history, his own sin, and been reconciled within himself and with God, but now God's given him reconciliation with his brother and an opportunity to return home. That quiet space, that space where we don't have the distractions of all the stuff, all the things, can be kind of scary. The idea of wrestling with God can be kind of scary, but man, does it produce transformation. Man, is it a time of grace to give us a new name, a new understanding of self, a new understanding of our relationship with God. Maybe there's something that you have been putting off wrestling about. Something that you've been distracting yourself away from because you don't really want to take it on. I want you not to be afraid of it. I want you to thank God when you get into that place where the door closes and it's silent and the distractions are gone and it's just you. and be like, oh, right, this is a gift, right? This is not fun. This is higher level Christian stuff, you know, the hard work, the transforming, reshaping work. But this is a gift, this is a grace. And get in there and wrestle it out, duke it out. The role model for the nation of Israel does this. This is how we work out our faith. So God bless you, because I figure somebody in here is going, oh, see, I didn't swear. Is going, oh man, I don't want to deal with that. God bless you. It's a gift. It's a gift when you give in that space. Amen. All right. See, I'm still not moving. I want a wheelchair. Do you have a wheelchair for me? I want to talk about the ways, not the ways to make a difference, the kindness in motion, because I glossed over it last week and I shouldn't have. We're doing this all fall. Like, we have a unique challenge every week to do something specific to be kindness in motion. Last week the challenge was to write a card to somebody helpful, write a thank you note to somebody helpful, and I am pissed because I did not get any cards. I'm helpful all the time. Also, it was Pastor Appreciation Month, you people. So, Norma said, you did, but you did that on your own like 3 weeks ago. Norma said, Norma did, thank you. I'm sorry, can you tell I'm tired? I'm like doing anything I want. So maybe we should just re-up that same challenge. I'm just kidding. No, so this next week, it is to reach out to an old friend that you haven't talked to in a while. The months have slipped by, you still haven't talked to. Will you reach out to that old friend this week? That's your special challenge. It's on your prayer list. Take your prayer list home, pray for the people on the list, and then remember the kindness in motion. Okay, it's time for our offering. Let's pray. God, thank you for giving us gifts that are sometimes uncomfortable. Help us to welcome uncomfortable gifts just as we welcome the ones that are easy. We ask that you would receive this gift from us as our way of saying thank you for wrestling with us. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for all you do in our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. First, and then hear one of the best songs I've ever sung in my entire life. It really is. You're going to be mad you aren't up here singing. You sing along from back there. Okay, the announcements that we have today are, after church, we are going from glory to glory today. We have Youth Group Junior that Laura O'Meara is leading in classroom 1. The choir is rehearsing, I think, to perform next week. Is that right, Daniel? The choir's going to perform again next week? Yep. 2 thumbs up. Excellent. Okay, so the choir's rehearsing. And then at 4:30 this afternoon, there's confirmation class at our house, at the Fisher's house. And at 6 o'clock, this is an opportunity for you. It's dinner church, but the food is all leftovers from the Taste of North Reading. So if you missed the Taste of North Reading, I have got some really good restaurant food from restaurants around North Reading, and you are more than, there's so much more than we can eat, it is ridiculous. So please just come help us eat up that food and enjoy a retaste of the taste of North Reading. There is a sale going on. The Ipswich River Community Chorus that has rehearsed in this building for 25 years, forever, 20 years, I don't know, is doing a fundraiser of pies that are going to arrive the Monday before Thanksgiving. There's a sign-up sheet in the foyer right across the entrance if you're interested in supporting the Ipswich River Community Chorus and a delicious pie. Next Sunday afternoon, the 27th at 4 p.m. down in Natick, our district superintendent, my supervisor, is being officially installed. This is a worship service that the bishop is leading. It's being translated into Korean, Portuguese, and Spanish, all live. It is going to be fascinating. I've been helping her plan it. If anybody would like to come along with me, and I think my mother's going. Anybody wants to ride in the car to experience that installation service, you are most welcome to join us. Just tell us so we can work out the carpool details. Please remember the 2-minute rule, which is that after we finish up, you take the first 2 minutes to talk to somebody whose name you don't know. Today, again, we are going to be stacking up the pews for high. It's the 20th. We have the 27th. And then I'm not sure if we're doing it November 3rd. We are almost done with this pew stacking. George is up, hands in the air. I know, it's hard work, it is. It is, but they make a generous contribution to thank us. So anyway, so you have your opportunity for exercise with that. And then finally, we got some very early numbers from the Taste of North Reading. Bob at Kingsley and Linda Watts stayed up late last night to crunch through some figures, and it looks, so we're raising money for the new food pantry home, the new building that they're making for the food pantry, which is on the property of the Congregational Church. So we were raising money to pay for a building renovation on the Congregational Church. How cool does that make us? That we're fundraising for their capital project, right? I think that makes
It's the Catholic Church.
and it was held at the Catholic Church. But I think it's pretty nice that we're doing that. That figure is probably around $2,000-ish that we'll be able to give towards their building fund. And the part that comes to Aldersgate from raffles and silent auctions is about $3,100. So those are preliminary figures. Okay, for celebration and thanks, I have one. Does someone else have? No? Okay. I'm going to thank the Holy Spirit for providing Marie LaRose literally at the last minute to come and work the soundboard. Bobby had to leave, and Marie walked in the door. And so thank you, Marie, for sitting on the soundboard. All right. Very good. Will you stand for the benediction? Oh, we had a choir up here. How are we going to do that?
Why don't we have it sing do that?
Daniel, you tell us what to do. I don't know, because we don't normally do it this way, so.
Well, that's the benediction, we can come on up.
And then the choir comes up after the benediction?
Yeah, all right.
We should have worked this out before, you know? Okay, all right. May the God who walks with us, the God who hears us, and the God who wrestles with us, be with us until we meet again, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
The song will be its own benediction.
Okay.
You guys know this song by